Imagine a small country with snow-capped mountains, a large part of the year passed in darkness, and a population of only 5.5 million. But this country is today counted among the richest, safest, and happiest countries in the world. We are talking about Norway, where every citizen receives free treatment, free education, and a pension in old age, all possible with government funds that contain more than $1.9 trillion. But this prosperity did not come suddenly. Behind this is prudent policies, prudent use of natural resources such as oil and gas, and a system that maintains a balance between both socialism and capitalism. In this video, let's know about the wonderful journey to Norway that made it the most prosperous and happy well-being state in the world. Chapter 1: Early History and Resources. Norway's progress today begins with its old history. At first it was under Denmark, but got independence in 1814, and then in 1905 separated from Sweden and became a fully independent country. The biggest challenge after independence was the lack of natural resources. Norway's economy at that time depended on farming, timber, and fishing. Most worked on small farms, and the harsh weather was difficult to survive. The geography of the country was also difficult, slowing development, and many people moved abroad in search of a better life. In the beginning, Norway did not have many industries and relied only on limited energy and small industries. Chapter 2: World War II and Reconstruction. Norway faced a lot of difficulties during World War II. On 9th April 1940, Germany invaded it, and the country's King Haakon VII and the government had to flee to London. But Norway's fleet of merchant ships helped the Allied countries through an arrangement called Nortraship. After the end of the war in 1945, Norway began to rebuild its country very rapidly. In just 4 years, it has produced more than its old level and built homes. By 1949, its maritime trade was fully resumed, and industries also saw good growth. In 1945, the Labour Party government was formed, which was led by Einar Gerhardsen, and it carried forward socialist policies. From 1957, all the elderly started getting pension, and in 1967, the pension scheme was started according to the income. In 1964, a new law came to help every needy in poverty. In this way, Norway further strengthened the foundations of its country by prioritizing social security after the war. Chapter 3: Discovery of oil in the North Sea. The biggest change for Norway came when it asserted its sovereignty over its sea area in the 1960s and started exploring for oil there. In 1969, a company named Phillips discovered a very large oil field named Ekofisk in the North Sea, which is one of the largest marine oil fields in the world. This discovery changed Norway's fortunes. The government immediately decided that whenever a company extracts oil, the government will have a 50% stake in it. Gas exploration also began in the 1970s, and in 1971, for the first time, oil was extracted and sold abroad. These marine oil and gas sources made Norway wealthy very quickly. But the most important thing is that the government ensured that the benefit of this wealth should not only be given to the companies, but also to the people of the country equally. Chapter 4: From Statoil to Equinor, National Energy Company. When Norway began exploring for oil, the government decided to take part in it so that it would have complete control over the country's wealth. In 1972, the government created a state-owned oil company called Statoil and a regulatory entity, the Norwegian Petroleum Directorate. Statoil began operations in large oil fields in the North Sea and discovered a large oil field named Statfjord in 1974. The company then became Norway's largest energy company. In 2001, it was listed on the stock market, which also gave some share to private investors. In 2007, its oil gas sector merged with another company, Norsk Hydro, making it even larger. In 2018, the company changed its name to Equinor to clarify that it is now focusing not just on oil, but also on clean and renewable energy. Today, Equinor employs more than 20,000 people around the world and is working in oil and gas as well as future options such as wind power, carbon storage, and hydrogen. Chapter 5: Welfare Fund from Oil Income. When Norway started earning a lot of money from oil and gas, it made a wise decision to save that money for the future instead of spending it immediately. In 1990, the Parliament of Norway created a special fund, which is now called Government Pension Fund Global. The purpose of this fund was to deposit all the income from oil and gas so that it could be kept safe for future generations. Money was deposited for the first time in 1996, and since then it has grown steadily. By 2019, the fund exceeded 10 trillion Norwegian kroner and crossed 20 trillion kroner in 2024. The Norwegian government invests this fund abroad in the stock market, bonds and property so that inflation does not increase in the domestic market. Today, it has become the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, with assets of more than $1.9 trillion. Norway invests money into its country's budget every year, such as schools, hospitals, and pensions. You can call it a national piggy bank, which will secure the future of the Norwegian people for many decades to come. Chapter 6: Economic Data and Standard of Living. Norway's economy is counted among the most developed countries in the world. As of 2024, the country's total output, i.e. GDP, is about $484 billion, and the average annual income of every person is around $101,100, which makes it among the top 10 countries in the world according to per capita income. Unemployment is very low here, and most people enjoy good jobs and facilities. The poverty rate is also very low. Norway's Human Development Index is 0.97, indicating that its people live longer, get a good education, and have a better life. Government income is more than expenditure. In 2023, the government had a surplus of 13.2% of the total budget. The economy of this country runs on a unique model, where the strength of business and capitalism is balanced by features such as socialism. Chapter 7: Health, Education, and Social Security. Norway's social policies emphasize the well-being of the people. All citizens have access to government-funded health care, including hospitals, medicines, and mental health services. Their expenses are usually met through taxes and contributions from employed people. In some cases, a small amount may have to be paid for the treatment, but most services are free. The average age of the people here is 82.6 years, and the country spends about 10% of its total income on health services. Education is also almost completely free, from school to college. The number of students in schools here is less, which gives them better attention, and children prefer to go to school. The government is also very helpful in raising children. Parents are given about 12 months of leave, most of which are paid full pay. Apart from this, there are many schemes like pension for the elderly, allowance for the unemployed, and help for widows and widowers. Because of all these facilities, people's lives in Norway are easy, safe, and comfortable. No one feels too poor or insecure here. Chapter 8: The Nordic Model, High Taxes, Comprehensive Welfare. Norway's economic system is called the Nordic Model, in which the government collects more taxes, but also gives a lot of facilities to the people in return. As such, Norway collected 42.6% of its total earnings in taxes in 2021. The highest rate of tax on income is about 38.2%, which also applies to the general public, to reduce the gap between rich and poor. Because of this, everyone in Norway has equal facilities and poverty is very low. According to the OECD, the revenue distribution here is quite similar. The Gini index is just 0.25, which is considered the best in the world. All this is possible because Norway has struck the right balance of capitalism and socialism. Chapter 9: Governance, Transparency, and Political Culture. Norway's politics is very clean, trustworthy, and democratic. It is counted among the best democracies in the world. According to one report, Norway's democracy score in 2021 was 9.81 out of 10, the highest in the world. This means that the freedom to vote, impartial courts, and the right to express oneself freely are very strong. People here also trust their government. 48% of citizens expressed complete trust in the government in 2023, which is much higher than the average of other countries. In Norway, cooperation between leaders is also very good. All political parties make decisions together on big issues like oil and the environment. This is the reason why the government here remains stable and is able to make sustainable policies for a long time. Norway is also counted among the least corrupt countries in the world. It was ranked 5th in the 2024 ranking. Overall, clean policy, united leadership, and honest governance have made Norway a strong and stable country. Chapter 10. The balance of capitalism and socialism. Norway has maintained a fine balance between capitalism and socialism. On the one hand, there is market freedom. That is, private companies and investors are allowed to operate freely. And on the other, the government also plays an active role in many important sectors such as metals and energy. The special thing is that the earnings from oil and gas have been deposited by the government in a fund in the name of the public, not used to increase its expenditure. This money is invested in stock markets around the world so that the economic progress of the country does not go in one direction. At the same time, Norway is very competitive in the field of technology and industry. That is, there is a system that protects the general public and at the same time gives the business a chance to grow. This is its biggest strength. Chapter 11. Global Lessons and Conclusions. Norway's success teaches us a very important lesson, that if a nation has natural resources, they can be used not only for today's needs but also for future generations. Norway saved the money from oil in a fund instead of spending it immediately, from which its citizens are getting continuous benefits today. This country has also proved that if the government is honest, transparent, and responsible, then people pay more taxes happily, and that can be used for the benefit of the people. Norway is an example for other countries that if income is spent wisely and for all, whether it is resources or technology, then society can become prosperous and happy. Fair government, social cohesion, and visionary planning have made Norway one of the best and most balanced countries in the world. If you enjoyed this enlightening journey, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video.